Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm exhausted. I look exhausted. That's because I am exhausted. I probably landed with maybe about 3 hours worth of sleep last night, if I'm lucky. I went to bed really late because I was determined to get some things done last night, because I have a big long list of things I got to tackle today. But then the thing that you never plan for, which is a child having bad nightmares and a child just wanting to snuggle and not being able to sleep, and one little thing after the next. I felt I was in the book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. That was me last night with Rowan, my 3-year-old, because he was definitely, it looks like I had given him a cookie, and then it was this, and then it was that, and then the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, and we went around for about 2 hours off and on with me catching a spot of sleep, like here or there. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to add to my list now. Take a nap. Take a nap is probably definitely on my list, because I am ready to crash already, and I just woke up. But the good news is, yesterday I didn't have coffee in the house because I ran out of beans, didn't realize it, didn't make it to the store, and I did end up with a cup of coffee yesterday being delivered to me. But I do have coffee this morning, so I may be wiped out, tired, but I have coffee. So positive, I have coffee. And I have a little boy that's now sleeping, and will be doing much better in his day after this. So there is that. So, it's interesting. Yesterday was all over the place. Yesterday, I felt like I was getting pulled in 1,000,001 directions, but all those directions were coming from inside myself. There was nobody externally walking up to me and saying, "Hey, Kendall, hey, Kendall, hey, Kendall." I mean, granted, I had people that I saw because it was my in-office day, so I had clients coming in, and I got to see lots of people, but they weren't pushing or pulling me any direction. Everything that I was experiencing was this internal push and pull, tug thing going on, and it led to a day that actually got a little bit more crazy and forgetful, you could say. It's almost like my mom's dementia had seeped over, and I had definitely very early onset dementia going on yesterday, to the point that I couldn't even get in my office in the front of the day. But we're not going to talk about that. That was like one of those embarrassing moments with Kendall. Hey, I could do a whole like video, like daily video of that shit right there. Embarrassing moments with Kendall. I mean, what was that? I remember a show that my mom used to watch or a radio show that she used to listen to. The End of the Story was the way it started. I can't remember who it was, but I remember the guy going, the end of the story. Yeah. So anyway, silly stuff. And of course that leads me into the topic of the day, because what I was dealing with yesterday was probably a little bit of idol worship. And this morning's topic is all on, and good morning, Addison. Morning, Michael. This morning's topic is all on, what idol do you worship? Bear with me. I'm going to yawn throughout this whole thing. But idols, and I thought it's kind of an interesting topic. It's definitely not one that I have touched on, I don't believe, on a Conscious Coffee yet. And good morning, Amy. It's not one that I've touched on, and it may be something that you're not quite prepared for, because I'm pretty sure you might be thinking, okay, what's she going to talk about? And in the land that I live, I get asked a lot about idols. Like, well, Kendall, you teach Tantra, but you also have this Christian foundation. So how does that work? How do you pull those two together? And the very first thing that I normally hear from a lot of different people is, I'm not going to be worshiping any idols or deities or this or that and that stuff. And I don't teach a Tantra-based practice where I'm teaching about gods and goddesses or deities or anything like that. I'm teaching foundational tantric practices that can be implemented into any belief structure out there, because it's not about whom you're worshiping or praying to, unless we're talking about like today's idols, or who you're not. So it doesn't much matter on that. So this is actually a very tantric conversation that we're going to briefly step into here, but just getting right with the fact that I would bet a lot of money on the fact that you're probably worshiping idols outside of the God that you already worship or follow spiritually, that you open up to that way, and that you're trying to, follow that path, that you're actually probably worshiping other idols in your life as well. And what do I mean by that? So, you could say that coffee is one of my idols. It's definitely something that I did okay yesterday. I think yesterday's talk was fine with a cup of ginger lemon zinger. It didn't quite have that zing that I was looking for, but no, it's one of those things that when we look into our life, the idols that we worship and the ones that we are potentially the most guilty of worshiping would indeed be what? Ooh, money, of course. Money, honey. Money is a big time idol. But guess what? With that money also comes something even more so than the money, and that is our work, our jobs. We worship our jobs and we don't even realize it. And it's something that a lot of people don't even enjoy doing if they're doing stuff that they don't love. So it is really, truly kind of like they are the frontline runners, the water boys for the team demon, let's call it, okay? Team demon over there, and they're just basically the grunt workers. Because if you're working a job and you are putting that job in front of everything, if you're not lined up properly of God family work, then if you think, and you'll probably go, oh well, no, I have God first. Do you really? Is that true? But a lot of people will say, no, it's no, I have God family work. But then you get into relationship stuff going on in the house, or, different things. And because I deal a lot with people on intimacy issues, on connection issues, on the things going on, the communication and the feeling that people have between each other. And the majority of the time, and I'm talking about like 98% of the time, what you're going to find in an intimate relationship, man and wife, wife and wife, whatever your relationship there is, okay? So you and your significant other, relate this to yourself, whatever that relationship looks like, okay? So whatever that might be, look at where you're actually placing your work. How often does your work actually come up in front of your primary relationship, which should be, granted, primary relationship should be God, but we're talking primary physical relationship. In this physical reality should be your significant other, your partner, your life partner. That should be your significant relationship. But how many times do you actually put your work in front of that relationship and say, I'm sorry, honey, but I just can't do that because work called. I have to work late tonight. I have to work 6 days. Ooh, but I'm taking a trip. I'm popping in, grabbing new clothes, and I'm taking another trip. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And you could say, oh my goodness, Kendall, you just don't understand. But I travel a lot for work, but I have this proposal that I have to get done, but I just got promoted and I have this to do and I have that to do and blah, 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 blah. I have to work the 80 hours a week. I can't leave my work at the office. I can't shut the office door to my home office and just tell my work to fuck off because that's my livelihood and I wouldn't be a good provider if I did that because I might potentially lose my job. And that's just not good. And da-da-da-da. And then you say, well, do you enjoy what you're doing? No, I don't enjoy what I'm doing. I don't enjoy what I'm doing. I hate what I'm doing. It's not really my calling. It's not my soul's purpose. It's not my calling. No, it pays the bills, and I went to school for it. And I did this and I did that, blah, 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 blah. It's all bullshit. It's all a worshiping of an idol for the other idol of money out of fear. It is out of fear. So instead of what, we talk about fearing God, well, we're fearing money. We're fearing the loss of money. We're fearing the loss of stability. We're fearing the loss of what so-and-so will think. We're fearing the loss of that ego kick if things don't work out properly. We're fearing all of those things. So what are we actually worshiping in that moment? Because if we're really fearing it and we are not opening up to what our heart's desire is, then what are we actually doing? We're actually opening up and saying, okay, basically I'm going to just be whatever over here to make sure that this gets by. So you're going to do the drug run, even though you know that it's a drug run and you know that it's illegal, you're still going to do the drug run. And I'm not saying that you're running drugs. What I am saying is that you're bringing up and you're doing something that's completely against your soul's calling that is almost just as dangerous, if not more dangerous than running drugs, because you're going against your soul calling. You're actually stepping away from your soul's purpose and your heart's desire, and you're also sacrificing the other relationships in your life for the worship, the support, the connection, how that makes you feel of this false idol. And money and our work is definitely a false idol. It's not what is going to ever make us happy, make us feel fulfilled, make us, really truly better people in the world. If you want, your work can make you a better person. It can make you feel fulfilled. It can get you deeper connection. But that is when you are in your alignment, not when you are just doing something that is paying your bills and making you look like a responsible, awesome citizen in this world. I'm not saying go rush out and quit your job, because I know that I probably hit just about everybody out there with that, because the majority of people are not doing their soul's work. What I am saying is stop and look at how you're putting what you are doing work-wise to take care of all that responsibility that you have, because I know that you do. We all do. But look at how you're placing it in front of everything else in your life. Is that work preventing you from taking the time to do the things that you need to do for yourself so that you can connect to yourself better and become a better, stronger spiritual vessel to be able to gain guidance from the God that you actually believe in, the spirit that you actually believe in, the creator, whatever your spiritual backing is there? Is your work actually interfering with that, because you're allowing it to literally fill up every single moment of your day instead of doing the relationship work with self? Because the relationship that you have with yourself is exactly it's going to reflect out and show the relationship that you have with everybody else and with everything else in your life. Okay? And then also look, is it also preventing you from actually making that spiritual connection to God, creator, source that you might believe in, your true, idol, you could say, right? So where are you getting that? Now, there's plenty of people that go to church that do this or do that, but do you fall underneath either the Easter Christmas crowd, or do you fall underneath the I'm just going because it's my duty crowd? Because that's just because you might go to a service, just because you might say, oh no, I do a meditation. Do you really do a meditation? Do you really go to church and receive what is being offered? Do you really take the time when you're doing these spiritual practices to get out of here and into here? Or are you consistently just checking something off your list, and just so that you can move forward and be like, no, I did that. Because the thing that you have to realize is God, source, universe, whatever title you want to state here, knows your heart, knows you at a cellular level. So there's no lying to God. There is no lying to God, because you're already known at this deep level. You can tell yourself every story underneath the sun that you want, and get yourself to believe that you're actually going. But the proof is always in the pudding. Do you feel fulfilled? What does your life actually look like? What is happening in your life? How turned on to life are you? How open to receiving blessings are you? Are you still trying to control everything in your life by forcing it to happen, by worshiping false idols in your life, such as your work, which leads to the false idol of money? Now, we can even go down to, there are plenty, if you look at it, anything that you can potentially get addicted to can definitely be a false idol, okay? So there are people who are, addicted to exercise, and exercise becomes, and I mean, exercise, fantastic. Prescribe exercise, go exercise, do yoga, go to the gym, ride a bike, go hiking, all that good stuff. It's all really, really good. But anytime that you're putting something like that in front of your primary relationships, and those really should be at least 3 primary relationships, 4 for some people, being God, self, primary partner, your husband, wife, whatever that might look like there, children. Those are your 4 primary relationships, okay? In that order: God, self, primary partner, husband, wife, or children, okay? That's the order. It goes down to that order because that is quite literally, when we're in relationship, that's how our energy flows. So if you're not having the relationships with your children that you want to be having, look back to the relationship that you have with yourself, with your partner, and with God, because the answers are there. It is just a trickle-down effect, okay? If you're not having the relationship that you want with your partner, well, look at the relationship that you have with yourself, and look at the relationship that you have with God, because the answers are right there. If you're not having the relationship with yourself that you want to have, well, look at your relationship with God. If you're not willing to open up and completely become a vessel of energetic operation, where you're in alignment and you're in that flow and just tapping in and acting out of faith instead of fear, then how are you ever going to be able to connect to self? Because that's what it requires to connect to God. You have to be able to surrender to God. You have to be able to surrender to yourself, so that you can actually surrender to a partner, so that you can surrender to the messages that are coming through, the relationships that fall underneath that, okay? So what false idols are you putting your attention to, giving your time to, giving your love to, giving your giving your money to, giving your energy to, opening up your heart to, all these things, and really, really putting your mental focus on? Because that right there, you're going to see that you're probably putting your focus on all these spaces, all these things that are just of this world, You can't take them with you. You're not really going to learn or expand from them. But what you are going to do is keep yourself right here and shut down, locked down, and not opening up to all the blessings that you can receive. What are your false idols? Is it work? Is it money? Is it exercise? Is it alcohol maybe? Maybe it's just friction-based sex, and that's what you're just thinking about all the time. Who knows? Maybe it is coffee. Maybe you're just like, gotta drink 3 pots of coffee a day because you can't do anything else. Maybe your false idol is procrastination. Maybe your false idol is lack of forgiveness. Maybe your false idol is victimhood. Maybe your false idol is, so I don't know. I could probably create a list and a half, right? But it's not bending down and worshiping statues and idols. That's not that we actually proclaim our idols. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about praying to a golden cow, okay? That's not it. I'm talking about the idols that you carry with you every single day, that show up and that you don't even realize are there. Becoming witness to those, and becoming witness to how the ego is using those and controlling your life and preventing you from fully experiencing everything that you were here to experience, because God put the kingdom of heaven in our hearts, and that kingdom of heaven is felt and seen through our desires, okay? Through our desires. And that's why I always say, what you're desiring desires you too. And that's because the reason for the desire that you have, and I'm not talking about lust feelings, I'm talking about God's honest, true desires, okay? So that, like that heart pull of, I know that there's more. Man, I know I can have that. There's this piece of you that actually believes that you can have something, or really truly craves it. And there's just like something, a stir in your soul. Those desires. Those are there because they were placed there, you could say, at the time of your creation. And that they are there for your taking, for your having, but you have to open up and surrender to them. And that means that you can't be chasing false idols, chasing those false things that you think are going to make you happy. So I didn't know, it's kind of like the just go to school, get a degree, get married, get a good job, get married, have kids, and voila, you're happy, right? You're happy, and that is what life is. It's just that. You're just doing that, and then you pay your bills, and you're a good, responsible person, and you work your set hours, plus a little bit, extra. Get up early, give a little extra time to the man, go to bed late, give a little extra time to the man, do this, do that, and just do that, and everything's gonna be perfect. You're gonna have a fantastic life. You're gonna make everybody happy. You're gonna make God happy. You're gonna be happy. It's just gonna be woohoo, party all day long. Except don't party. Don't go do those things for yourself. Don't tap in and pay attention to those feelings of dread and anguish and regret for not doing what you want. You're called for. Don't do that. Don't do that. No, that would be bad. That would be bad to actually pay attention to that heart's desire. But that's what we do. We live this life where we'll worship our money, we'll worship our job, we'll worship, responsibility, we'll worship all this different stuff. And we'll say no to the beautiful gift that's been placed in our heart from the moment of our creation. So I want you to look at the false idols that you've been worshiping. I don't want you to go out there and quit your job. I want you to remain a responsible, awesome citizen of this world, but I want you to start examining how much time you're actually dedicating to, these things that you feel so much that you have to, and try to figure out some way that you can take off the table the alibi, the excuse, the reason as to why you can't do the things that you know that you should be doing. such as connecting to Source, connecting to God, connecting to self, taking care of self, spending more time with your partner, your husband, your wife, your lover, spending more time with your children, doing the things there that can grow you as a person, that can connect you even deeper and give you true intimacy into life. How can you actually give more time and energy and open yourself there versus over here all the time? Okay, so really start examining that. And I guess I'll just conclude with, I don't know what I'm going to conclude with. I'm going to conclude with a quick little marketing pitch. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, a half awake marketing pitch. Okay, so real quick little announcements I've been trying to do, just because we do have people signing up, but we still have a few spots. And, us ladies, we're really, really good about worshiping false idols. We worship the false idol of we shouldn't have, we shouldn't do, we shouldn't, allow any of this stuff. So what we have there is, everything just froze. Oh, goodness. Hold on, everybody. Hold on if you can see me. Take myself off of Wi-Fi. Hold on.